As fiction writers, one of the things that we can struggle the most with is dialogue. And that's not a great thing if you consider that most agents and professionals recommend that your dialogue should account for almost 20% or so of your book. So the question is, how do you actually make it good? In general, what's really going to be helpful for your dialogue is to make sure that it still has to do the job of show, don't tell. Most writers, what they run into is that they associate show, don't tell with just the narration, and then they forget about it in the dialogue. But your dialogue can show rather than tell too. So keep that in mind. That's your anchor point. The first practical tip to improve your dialogue is use a range of verbs. I cannot tell you how many books I have read where it's like so-and-so said, next line, so-and-so said. Same repetition over and over. Again, showing, not telling. You can use a huge range. Maybe they are shouting, maybe they are explaining, whispering. All those kinds of verbs are fair game. Use them. The second tip is to let analogy and action take the place of a traditional simple tag. So for example, instead of saying something like she said, you might actually say she threw her coat on the table. Because doing that allows the reader to see, and you're taking them along with the action as that dialogue is taking place. So you don't necessarily have to break into a full narration. You can just use that little snippet, one sentence, after what they've said to link it together. Third, remember, sometimes you don't even need a dialogue tag at all. Trust the reader to come along with you and understand if there's a line break, it's probably a different character speaking. There's a lot of ways that they can instinctively understand what you're getting at, especially if you're describing the scene with those analogies and actions. This fourth thing is something that a lot of writers miss, and it's silence. We often think of dialogue as just the words that are being said, but silence is a valid part of conversation. It has weight, it has connotation. But when you insert that into your scene, that has meaning, and the reader is gonna follow that. So don't be afraid to use that when you can. This last thing, most writers, they put so much effort into their dialogue, and that's exactly why it doesn't work. When you put that much effort into it, it does sound forced. So what you have to realize is you need to think less about the writing and more about real life. What do people actually sound like in conversation? The way that we write is very often not the way that we talk. So if you're having problems with dialogue, go out and listen, go and eavesdrop, record some conversations, real subtle, you're not trying to get into anybody's privacy or anything, but you're just trying to analyze what they're saying and how they're saying it. And you'll find that the flow of things is very different. The word choices are even different. Whether you use contractions or not, all those little things matter. So just ease it up. So to just kind of wrap up, just remember that when you are creating dialogue, you want to be true to how people actually talk, but you also want to think about your characters and be authentic to them. If you can get those things while you also show what's going on rather than telling, you'll be in great shape.